This is about being respected and validated. Remember, that's what you told me. That's how you got me into this shit.
A washed-up Hollywood star risks everything to mount his very own passion project, a Broadway play that he thinks will bring his career back from the dead. Along the way, he questions his own motivations and what it means to be an artist. There's usually something inherently pretentious about actors who wax on about their craft, or movies that are all about making movies. Birdman, or the unexpected virtue of ignorance, attacks its subject matter with a boldness and a deft visual style. Whether the characters on screen are pretentious or the movie itself is simply pretentious, I can't tell you. But what I can tell you is that I haven't stopped thinking about this movie. Director and writer Alejandro González Iñárritu has structured the entire film as one continuous shot, aided by several digital tricks, tracking through the hallways of an old theater, down the streets of New York, and onto the stage where a company of actors gather to perform. There we meet some of the main players, portrayed by Michael Keaton, Naomi Watts, and Edward Norton.
Come on.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why don't you get your wings in your fucking bird suit, man?
They all seem to portray alternate versions of themselves, performers mired in the trappings of stardom, desperately self-conscious about what the public thinks of their work. While the camera takes us to some unexpected places, it almost always lands on a tight close-up, focusing on a couple characters at a time as they discuss their place in the universe, or the trappings of stardom, or the constant battle between their id and superego.
This play kind of starting to feel like a miniature, deformed version of myself that just keeps following me around and like hitting me in the balls with like a tiny little hammer.
These are some weighty, self-indulgent themes that tend to make my eyes roll when broached by other films, but Iñárritu makes them approachable and interesting. By casting performers that mirror aspects of their characters in real life, these themes take on a deeper meaning. For instance, Edward Norton plays a cocky thespian whose reliance on method acting alienates him from his co-workers.
But long after you're gone, I'm gonna be on that stage, earning my living, bearing my soul, wrestling with complex human emotions. Right.
Sound familiar? Then of course there's Michael Keaton attacking the role of a man who constantly walks in the shadow of his 20-year-old legacy as a cinematic comic book hero.
You're doing this play to battle the impression that you're a washed-up superhero.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's why 20 years ago I said no to Birdman 4. That's why.
Hold the man full.
Thank you, everybody.
You do Birdman full.
Thanks for coming out. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's another fierce performance that leaves you constantly guessing where his personal connection with the character begins and ends. While it may get a little too self-referential at times, Birdman remains brazenly unpredictable throughout its 2-hour runtime. Keaton, his fellow performers, and Iñárritu's camera bring a kinetic energy to every scene, making the art house platitudes that it explores mesmerizing and dreamlike. But those are just my thoughts on Birdman. I'd love to hear yours. You can hit me up on Twitter, John_Airy, or leave me a comment. I'm John at the movies.